Patrick Gray is here. He's the Chief Sales Officer of Expian. He's here to talk to you today about modernising the buying experience with heritage attractions. So don't worry if you need to shoot off. It's all being recorded, but please stick around and give him a very warm welcome.
Thank you. And now check, can you all hear me okay? Because I've got no idea how loud I'm coming through. So I'm Patrick. I head up Expian on the commercial side, and we are a ticketing platform with a specific angle towards heritage attractions. So a little bit about me. I've got two boys, one who's 12, one who's nearly 13. They recently restarted watching the Harry Potter films. They really like Harry Potter. They've watched the films 3 or 4 times each, and they love the games, the shops, the tour, the toys. I'm a massive Harry Potter fan. I was one of those individuals queuing at 4 o'clock in the morning to get the 7th book when it came out. I wouldn't say that it defines me, but there is a period of my life where if you asked anyone who knows me, they would say, I love Harry Potter. I even got a big Harry Potter tattoo for my 40th birthday, which I'm not sure if I regret it just yet. A couple of years ago, I was given a Christmas present of the Trivial Pursuit Harry Potter game. You'll have seen it. The boys were desperate to play. So we sat down as a family to play it, and I destroyed them. They could only answer a couple of questions, and I was getting every single one right. And at the time, Tom, who is the eldest and most competitive, was really upset, close to tears. And the look on my wife's face said it all. She was impressed. She was really pleased. The thing is, there's more to Harry Potter than the films. You have to read the books. You have to invest the time to understand the characters, the subplots, and the elements that get missed out of the movies. So why would you assume that an 8 and 9-year-old at the time could beat a 40-year-old who's read the 7 Harry Potter books cover to cover several times? Why would they beat me in a Harry Potter quiz? But you don't know what you don't know. And we say that a lot at Expian, and I've heard it a lot at shows and events like this. The ticketing landscape is a minefield with so many operators, so many suppliers out there, and lots of attractions who only go to market every few years. And in that time, the ticketing landscape evolves. Yet, when we talk to attractions like yourselves, we tend to assume we're all on the same page. We're all at that same level of knowledge and understanding what ticketing systems can do, when in reality, we're not. So I've worked in travel tech for the last 15 years. And whilst in the worlds of leisure and corporate travel, the use of online booking platforms is very common, and it's a very fast-paced and evolving market. But it wasn't back in 2010, which is when I started in travel tech. I've worked with many big brands over the years, all of which at some point have started their journey into digital booking platforms, and previously have come from very legacy, outdated offline ways of doing travel. And it feels a little bit today that this is where the visitor economy is. There's a real appetite from attractions and operations to digitize and become more modern. But actually, we're really at the cusp of something in terms of operations taking that step forward. I think we're in an incredibly innovative industry, and attractions are really, really good at tapping into the notion of what is fun and memorable. And we've seen some fantastic ways that attractions have really bought into the minds of the travelers. And yet, from the outside looking in, from a ticketing experience, you can often find that that first impression you get of your attraction, which is going onto your website to make a booking, can feel a little bit disjointed or outdated. When I worked at Agencia, which was at the time part of the Expedia group, we obsessed about the notion of online adoption. And that's the metric that basically says what percentage of your bookings are made online versus legacy offline processes. We were running at about 70% online adoption, where our competition were running at about 20 to 30%. And the money and the time and the effort we saved by moving people online, companies were able to leverage into other operations, marketing activity, sales activity, operational improvement. And as I said, today it feels like the visitor economy sits at that same point. Operations are looking for ways to claw back time, claw back resources, and claw back costs. And this is really where ticketing systems should come in. I speak to a lot of attractions on a regular basis about many, many different things. But I do tend to find there are some very basic requirements that people are still looking at. As a couple of examples, visitor centres and ticketing desks. I've spoke to a few attractions recently with varying different problems of what is a very common instance for most attractions. One attraction had semi-permanent desks, so that every time guests arrive into different parts of the attractions, they have to physically move the visitor centre to accommodate the next experience. I spoke to a free-to-all attraction, a very grand heritage attraction with a fantastic opening and a brilliant way of walking in. But to accommodate donations and gift aid, they've had to put large TV screens and tacky posters up around to get people to buy things and to invest in the experience. Attractions that run pop-up events that don't allow you to sell admissions and things like drinks and merchandise at the same time, so there's a disjointed customer experience. And places, particularly in heritage, where visitor centres are no longer in the best location for where customers come through. Spoke to one recently where to get into the visitor centre, you effectively walk up a weather tunnel, and on a bad day, you're caught in wind and rain and storms, yet there's a perfectly good entrance around the side if they had the tools to do it. So things like that, where at Expian, for example, we offer remote handheld devices, which you can sell tickets on, you can redeem tickets, you can upgrade, you can sell add-ons. Those sorts of things limit the problems, something as simple as a visitor desk. Memberships, another example. Lots of attractions today offer memberships and passes. I've spoken to attractions that would like to offer both, but don't have the facility to do so. At Expian, you can set up a pass, which gives you unlimited access or limited number for a period of time. But you can also set up a membership, which gives paying members discounts and savings in other areas as well. Trade partners. Dependent on the attraction, the relationship you had with trade partners varies. We give all of our customers access to a trade partner portal. So as an attraction, you can separate the experiences and the products that you want to sell to third parties, limit what they can sell, how much they can sell it for, and what commissions, but remove some of the manual offline processes which heritage attractions can get bogged down in today. And capacity management. A lot of attractions now no longer satisfy the revenue needs purely through admissions alone. Lots of them do events, weddings, corporate hire, parties, private hire. With the Expian platform, for example, you can set different capacity levels on different types of events, different types of products, different types of ticketing services. So you've got flexibility to run your attraction the way you want to run the attraction, rather than the way that the system says that you have to run it. So at events like this, they're great for opening your eyes to what's possible. And there's lots of fantastic suppliers here who will amaze you with some of the innovations that their products and services can do. You'll also hear discussions at events like this into things like AI and dynamic pricing. The problem with those two topics is that you can't jump into AI with outdated systems and tools. You can't look at dynamic pricing if you're still running around manually doing bookings on clipboards and Excel sheets. So for me today, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not going to dig into those two topics. I'm going to look at why people buy. So the basic question is how do we sell? What is it that a basic system should be able to do that supports you with sales as part of your sales strategy for the next 2 to 3 years? The facts are people buy either because they want something or because they need something. In sales, we get told to tap into an individual's need, find the pain, find the reason to buy. But the reality is that some people just buy because they want to. They want to advance. They want to progress. And it's very, very easy to see that in practice. So quick question. Who here today has bought something new for the show? A new bag, a new coat, new shoes, new jumper? Anybody? What did you buy? Suits. Do you not have any suits? No. So it's very reasonable that someone buys something, not because there is a definite need for it, because they want to buy something. In fact, it goes a little bit further than that. We are hardwired to buy. As consumers, when we buy a product, we get a hit of dopamine. And when we anticipate the purchase, that hit increases. So what that means from a purchasing perspective is that the notion of retail therapy is actually a fact. It's been proven now that people come to your attraction looking to spend money, and they will physically and mentally enjoy spending money with you. And it's a very simple premise, but it's very important when it comes to attracting people to your events and trying to increase upsell revenue. There's a fantastic article published by a company called Faster Capital, and it summarizes all of the years of research that goes into understanding why people buy. These are all levers that you can pull to encourage people to purchase items when going through your booking experience. Creating a need or a want, offering discounts, playing on our emotions, make us feel part of something, offering freebies, creating a sense of urgency, using endorsements, and appealing to our better selves. So what does that all mean? Your ticketing platform has to be part of your overall sales and marketing strategy. The two should not be seen as separate entities. The tools you use should support your overall growth objectives. If they don't, then you need to consider changing either your tools or your strategy. The basic things today that a ticketing platform should be able to do can lie into those 8 key levers. Creating a need or a want. You should be able, through your system, to surface things like merchandise, guidebooks, activity packs, add-ons as part of the booking experience to increase the number of things in the booking and increase the sales conversion. Offering discounts and deals. Your platform should allow you to create things like bundled products, combination pricing, flexible pricing, promotions, vouchers, all different ways that you can tap into that primal urge to make people spend. Playing on our emotions, the overall buying experience needs to reflect the sentiment of your attraction. You can't promote excitement, innovation, tranquility through a frustrated or outdated booking tool. Making us feel part of something, memberships, patronages, the opportunity to be part of a group and get perks for doing so. Most modern ticketing systems today will allow you to sell memberships that give you benefits and advantages as a customer elsewhere and be part of that group. Freebies. Who doesn't love a freebie? But you should be able within your ticketing system to have flexibility around pricing, even give away free tickets, but still book them so that you can count the visitor numbers. The other thing, if you are a free-to-all attraction, why not sell free tickets on your website that then prompt the donation and gift aid process as you go through? Creating a sense of urgency, using variable pricing, rules around on-peak, off-peak, weekends, evenings, school holidays. Most ticketing systems today should now be able to give you some flexibility that isn't all-out dynamic pricing, but the ability to tailor your pricing to maximize revenues at certain times. Using endorsements, sales through partnerships, local events that match your event that you could promote and sell on their behalf. Working with brands and themes that are relevant to your event. One of the best ones I've seen used most commonly and recently is the horrible histories. I personally, as a parent, every time I see horrible histories at an event, I will go there with my kids, because even if the event isn't what the kids want, the horrible histories thing will be. Looking for those opportunities to use other brands to strengthen your own. And then appealing to our better selves. A big one for this particular group of people, but gift aid and donations. Most ticketing systems should now allow you to surface the gift aid option as you go through the booking process, which can be a genuine revenue stream for you. But we have a tendency in industries to stick to what we know. Your sales strategy and ticketing platform therefore needs to be about understanding what you want to achieve rather than trying to define who you are as an attraction. Let's just consider that for a moment. You all know who this is. Good, I'm not the only one. Taylor Swift, $1 billion of global sales so far from her tour. She's played at some of the most unique venues across the world. Some really impressive structures, some really legacy hosts, and some modern stadiums. The problem is, no one's going to see Taylor Swift in consideration of where she is playing. There are some people who need to think about things like accessibility and logistics, but the venue is not important. You are going to see Taylor Swift. One of the most common phrases I've heard from 20 years of managing customers is that it's not like that here, or it's different in our industry. But that's not 100% true. When you look at your attraction, there will be elements that are unique to you, but you have more commonality with your peers than you probably realize. But we're the only grade 1 listed building for 100 miles. So what? You have to be brutally honest about what that actually means when it comes to selling tickets. The reality is, in all walks of life, we stick to what we know, and we like to be part of a group. But what if that mentality is limiting our ability to grow our attraction? In the ticketing space, there are lots and lots of ticketing systems and some really, really good competitors to Expian. But that doesn't mean, as a museum, for example, you should stick to products and services that work with other museums. Just because a supplier in a given product has existing customers in your market, it doesn't mean they are the best fit for you moving forwards. This is where the square peg and round hole problem comes in. You end up adapting your business to the system that everybody else is using, rather than finding a system that supports the growth of your business. And at a core level, all companies have more similarities than they realize. And it's usually the similarities that help us to overcome challenges and operating in a competitive and innovative market. What that means for you guys, the people in this room, is to start thinking and looking outside of your wider network, rather than just those in your immediate capture. Everyone at events like this has the same problem area that you have. So what if their operations on paper are different to yours? If anything, that means you can have an open and honest conversation with somebody without letting your competitors know that you're experiencing some challenges. Your competitor, by the way, is probably experiencing exactly the same challenges, but trying to fix them the same way everybody else is trying to fix them. When you think about ticketing systems, you need to know what's important to you. You're solving for a problem that you have, not that your competitor have or your software says that they can fix. You're looking for features and services that you need, not what everybody else is trying to look for. And you're looking for a partner that suits you, not just the one that perhaps serves your competitors the best. Understanding from the off the specifics are important for a couple of reasons. Number one, it helps you find the right supplier or partner. Number two, it helps you deliver a solution that actually solves the problems you are trying to fix. And number three, if you're lucky, knowing these things and working with the right partner can also find you to do things that you didn't know were possible or you didn't know were a problem. Remember, you don't know what you don't know. I've had a lot of conversations at events like this and with various meetings with attractions now looking for this idea of an all-in-one solution or a one-stop shop. And in many ways that can make sense, but equally it's something that needs to be carefully considered. If your objective to change is being driven by the fact that your current ticketing system doesn't have all the whistles and bells when it comes to marketing and client communications, then certainly investigate broad-scale ticketing systems, but also investigate CRMs. It could be that your ticketing system is fine, but your CRM is out of date. When I was back in corporate travel, there was a lot of pressure on travel tech companies to absorb some of the problems that corporations were facing, things like expenses and sustainability. The result was a lot of very good travel management companies becoming a mile wide and an inch thick in terms of functionality. So they would offer a platform with an expense tool that was okay, but didn't really answer the problem. You want to be able as an attraction to say, we have the best in class ticketing system, coupled with the best in class CRM, the best in class finance system. One-stop shops aren't always the solution that you need when you're trying to deliver excellence in every single area of your business. Expian's built around APIs, which allows us to say to a certain extent, there's nothing we can't do. In reality, perhaps what we're saying is, we're a ticketing platform, first and foremost, and we do it well. But we can complement with other technologies and other areas that suit you. We will not be your CRM, but we will provide you with a best-in-class ticketing system, and we will support your best-in-class CRM as well. You can decide what's important to you, and that should be the dominant force in decision-making. Your ticketing system should be able to connect into external partners. Modern API architecture can be very simple, and where you struggle with outdated systems, modern systems should be able to adapt. And it should be future-proof that allows you to grow as your operation grows. One of the first questions I was asked on when I was given this speaker's slot is, what does heritage mean to me? Personally, I think heritage is about our history, and any attraction under that umbrella is designed to help us know and understand what life was like at a given time. And that might be right, and it might only be a small part of the picture. I'm very lucky that growing up, my mum and dad loved heritage attractions. So I've been to castles and houses and chateaus across UK and Europe, and I grew up loving these places. As a parent now, it's very easy for me to take my children to these events because I've got a perception and an understanding of what they mean to me. But there is a risk, there is a danger that to people that doesn't know heritage, that heritage can mean old-fashioned, out of date, out of touch. And whilst I don't believe that's the truth, there is a risk of that. The best way I think we can tackle this as an industry is to make sure that the tools we have give the best possible visitor experience from the moment a visitor lands on your website. If your website is old and slow and the booking process is slow and clunky, it reinforces that idea that heritage is out of touch, when there are so many excellent tools out there today that will help modernize your selling platform. The first step is to find a partner that you can work and grow with. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. That was awesome. Any questions for Patrick from the audience? We've got a microphone that is roving. Feel free to stick your hand up. Anyone? Oh. All right, I'll kick off. I have a question for you. So I just want to go back to what you said about organisations that go, but this is the way that we've always done it. When I was at Rubber Cheese, we would come up against lots of kind of cultural organisations that would say, actually, with our ticketing system, we kind of work our process like this to work around the ticketing system, which we know is not the right approach to take to it. You know, you shouldn't be customizing your process to fit your system. Your system should be working to your process. I'm really interested to know how you approach those conversations with potential clients and how that conversation goes when that's how it starts.
So we try and focus on the behavior and the desired outcome. So rather than the system and the platform, you put that to one side to begin with and say, what is it you are trying to achieve? Things like school groups is a really good example, because lots of heritage attractions embrace and invite school groups in, but your one definition of a school group requirement over here is very different to over there. So what we will try and understand it is, what's the desired outcome for you? What does it need to look like? And then we can look at our platform and say, right, to get that, we can do this. Or this is how some of our other clients address school issues. Do any of these work better for you? So we don't go into a customer saying, this is what the system says, so this is how you have to do it. It's a lot more collaborative and consultative to say, let's find the best way of working with your attraction. It's either something we can do today, or it's actually something we can tailor a bit more around your business. But ultimately what comes out is the desired behavior using the tools to support that behavior.
That's a perfect outcome, isn't it? Just one more quick question. Are all of your birthday presents and Christmas presents Harry Potter themed?
A large
Whatever.
proportion of them, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any more questions? No. One question at the front. Oh, two. Oh, sorry, I missed one. Sorry, two questions.
Yeah, just a quick question. Looking at some of the old-fashioned types of museums or heritage sites, and they don't know where to go next, let's just say. So what would be the fundamental integration requirement from your experience that they should be looking, like, let's say a top 3, top 4. So they've got the ticketing system, the CRM, most don't talk to one another. What would be sort of the 3 to 5 key focus points that you would recommend?
So it's a difficult one to give a straight answer to, because I think every attraction has to be quite selfish in terms of how they look at these particular problems. So as an example, you've looped CRM straight into that question, but CRM might not be important to you. So what we will typically try to do is find the 2 to 3 things that you're really trying to achieve from this objective. And it might be modernization of the experience. It might be removal of offline processes. For me, the biggest win we can offer a partner is to get everything that's currently done on 2nd and 3rd and 4th systems and bring them into one environment. So really understanding the mechanics of your operation, what needs to happen day to day, and then finding those 2 or 3 pain points. And don't restrict yourself to say, oh, well, we've got to integrate, or we've got to have AI, or we've got to do this. No, find the 2 or 3 things, and it might be really simple. Your ticketing structure might not reflect what you now want to sell. So you might only sell adult and child, but what you would really like to be able to do is have over 18s, 5 to 16 and under 5-year-olds. That could actually be a really big pain for you. So be very selfish in terms of the big or little things you're trying to fix, and then be steadfast with the ticketing company. If they say, well, you don't want to do it this way, you kind of want to say, well, yeah, we do. How can you help us with that? Thank you.
We've got time for one last question at the front here.
Thank you very much. It's an engaging talk, and
Thank you.
I like the analogies that you've made in the presentation, and you talk about museums and tourist attractions. They want to gain knowledge of their audience, and their audience want to gain knowledge about that heritage attraction. So I wonder how ticketing system can become the gateway for museums and heritage attractions to understand their audience better. What kind of solution would you think of in terms of that?
I think the audience that we're trying to attract nowadays has evolved. And as example, as a family, we pre-book all of our trips. So wherever we go, if we're there for a day, a week, 2 weeks, my wife, not me, my wife will normally go online and book everything in advance. And again, I think it's that as a museum or a castle or a cathedral or a theme park, nowadays more than ever, a lot of the first impression comes from that front-facing website. And from a ticketing perspective, when I go on and I book and I'm pushed out onto a second site, or it's a pop-up that doesn't feel like the environment I've gone into, that's already a little bit of a step backwards from what the attraction's obviously trying to achieve. So I think what you are trying to create with your ticketing partner is continuity of the brand, continuity of the experience. If you are a modern and innovative attraction, your website has to be. But if you are a heritage attraction, your customers should feel that they are coming into a modern interpretation of that heritage attraction. That's how you continue to get visitors in the day of mobile phones and PlayStations. You know, it has to feel like a modern experience, but allowing people to enjoy and embrace what is our culture, our history.
Do you think, sorry, just a quick one.
Very
Do you think
quick.
the whole experience starts at buying the tickets or even before that?
I think so. I think more so, we've seen in this industry and leisure, the amount of time that people invest in choosing what they are going to do. And as I said, there's a chemical excitement in the brain. You get excited about doing things and you look forward to doing it. And if you are going into something that you've heard great things about, and then your first experience is not quite what you're expecting, you're more likely to abandon the basket. And ultimately what ticket systems should do is help you reduce abandonment, increase conversion, increase basket values. So I do think that first impression really, really counts. And it's the same if you go to a supermarket. If the fruit was off, you wouldn't buy it, you wouldn't go into the rest of the shop. If you went to a restaurant and the starter was poor, you wouldn't look forward to your main meal. So I think that first experience, that first contact nowadays, people invest time to spend looking at your website and going through the process. It should be as good as possible.
Thank you.
I'm nodding along over here because I always say the visitor experience starts from the minute anyone sees your brand. As soon as they connect with it, that's when the experience starts.
100%.
There you go. Right. If you want more of that wisdom, head over to stand K3 and visit Patrick and Expian. If there's any more questions for him, yeah, that's where you'll find him. But give him a really big round of applause, everyone. Thank you.